Why don't you drink? Have a drink with me.
Oi, you're at the back.
In all my days, I've never seen a man handle an axe like that. How many men did it take to cut you down?
Just one.
Whoa! That must have been some kind of monster.
He was a woman.
Ha!
The responsibility of resurrecting the Hound in episode 7 was both, oh my God, how completely amazing, and oh my God, how completely terrifying.
He's glad to be alive. He's survived a near-death experience. It's not that he's suddenly gone totally religious, but he feels like he can help out the guy that's helped him.
Let's go once again from the top, guys.
He finds this man in Ian McShane's character who he can really relate to.
Gentlemen, I'm like a leader of this sort of group of people who don't believe in violence anymore. So obviously I'm not going to last more than one episode, which... How many men did you say it took to cut you down?
Just one.
Rory's actually really good at chopping wood in real life. Didn't need any stunt doubles, didn't need any kind of effects. It's just him there with an axe, which is great, you know, it just makes it that much more believable.
There's something greater than us. And whatever it is, it's got plans for Sandor Clegane.
The Hound does, I think, allow himself on some level some hope that actually maybe there is a different way forward for him, which of course at the end of episode 7 we find out actually there isn't.
River Run was initially a small drawing back in season 3 that you saw in the distance as part of a matte painting. And then we had to obviously build it this year.
There was a certain romance that seemed to be attached to River Run. We also liked the idea of making it a little bit more fairy tale. You know, the way we could play with turrets, the way we could play with this castle surrounded by water.
That actually bridges sort of 2 rivers. And, you know, then they're able to flood the 3rd river so that then it can become a complete island and stand alone at the same time as being something sort of new and exotic. So we were looking to architecture of sort of Middle Europe, French in particular.
I was worried about it. I thought, how are we going to use an existing castle? How are we going to get the drawbridge as a CGI element or a model element? And then I got to Ireland and realized they'd built it all with a huge working drawbridge.
We built the facade of the building. We built the interior of that building. And then we were able to use the farmer's field opposite to create the big siege camp. So it ended up being a massive project from beginning to end.
The great thrill for us was River Run blurs the boundaries between set design and civil engineering.
Because we actually built a working drawbridge. How many people get to do that? It's amazing.
It just looks so great, you know, and there's a big difference between having a kind of background VFX bridge that doesn't really play in and then having an actual winched drawbridge that opens, and just beautiful. So hats off to the production department.
Rolling, final set.
Have a drink with me. You, what's your excuse?
Tyrion has a capacity of getting along with most people, but his own family.
3 lords walk into a tavern.
You gotta lighten up the day with the sense of humor.
You know, Tyrion is known for his ability to talk and to converse and be charming. And he's faced with 2 people who are just there to do a job.
Anyone not drinking is disrespecting our queen.
So Peter just went on, it's like a stand-up comic, you know. We'd do the words of the scene and then Peter would just keep going on messing around, and that would make the actors laugh. And we would keep the cameras running so we would get reactions that felt real because they were real.
Tell me a joke, Miss Sandy of North.
I do not know any jokes.
Grey Worm.
Grey Worm sees Tyrion a little bit as like that guy at work who
you're constantly made to interact with, but you're sort of like, you're really annoying, but I have to respect you because you are my superior.
I mean, Grey Worm is a hard nut to crack, but he manages to. And Missandei's a bit easier. I did save her life at the end of season 5.
And Sally'd never drink.
Why not?
Rules.
Who made these rules? Your former masters? Miserable old Saxon shit didn't. Fucking hell.
Sorry, you step away from this language for...
Looks like a siege, my lady.
You have a keen military mind, Pod.
River Run is deceptive. I think if one took one's eye off it, you could end up just trying to shoot a siege.
As long as I'm standing, the war is not over.
All the characters that are involved in that whole piece are just extraordinarily desperate in their own ways. It is that synthesis of the epic and the intimate that is so beguiling.
What the hell are you doing here?
I've come for the blackfish.
You're welcome to have him.
The scene between Jamie and Brienne, it is the most reluctant love story in history. They love each other and they hate that they love each other.
There is that complication.
They have a genuine understanding of each other, and I think that in many ways she gets him on a level that very few other people get him.
Honor compels me to fight for Sansa's kin.
Of course it does.
To fight you.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that.
That tacit understanding that it can never be anything, not it doesn't want it to be anything, but it's there.
Lord Edmure.
In the tent with Tobias's character, Lord Edmure, and Sir Jamie, I think is an exquisitely written scene. So layered. David and Dan at their subtextual best, and two actors at the top of their game.
How do you tell yourself that you're decent after everything that you've done?
The actors are so smart and they know their characters so well. I'd love to make myself sound cleverer than I am, but it's like not getting in the way, honestly.
I love Cersei. And if I have to slaughter every Tully who ever lived to get back to her, that's what I'll do.
Arya's jump over the balcony, she was a wire assisted, but she did it for real. It's around about 14 feet. And there is a map there, but you won't be able to see it.
The kind of climax of episode 8 is this foot chase, which I think was described on the script as, you know, the greatest foot chase in cinematic history or something like that. So no pressure on the director.
It was so much fun to shoot as well, because you're in Spain and you're in these streets that really look that way. There wasn't there was dressing, but there wasn't a lot of recreation.
I'm so thrilled that I've got the opportunity to do these sort of things. It starts out as a very calculated, kind of born identity sort of foot chase and turns into just pure scrambling and pain and desperation.
And so I devoured every foot chase in the history of cinema. But trying to take from that something that would fit into the blueprint of the Game of Thrones, you know, visual style, which is not necessarily the same kind of kinetic handheld feel that you find in many contemporary thrillers. It's a much more classic frame.
Nice to see Arya meeting her match, because no one likes a character that's far too cocky, and that's what Arya's become, and so it's wonderful to see her really, really struggle.
Everything hinged from finding this very lovely steep stairwell and thinking, wouldn't it be great if she leapt off that and then tumbled down all the stairs? I had this image in my head that I wanted lots of oranges rolling down, which I'm not quite sure where that comes from, but it looked pretty.
All the while, the waif is just ploughing through like a Terminator. And we wanted the audience to watch it and be like, you idiot! Now you're going to just leak blood to wherever you're going to go and hide. Again, with Arya, it's very calculated.
That the character had actually been extraordinarily cunning in the way that she'd baited and led this character to her own and outwitted the waif.